it might be a bit rocky of a show for me today.
Oh dear.
I'm just coming off of having COVID, and my voice is mostly back. A couple days ago I couldn't speak at all, but I do have this very persistent and annoying cough. So it's a good thing I just installed the cough button.
It's a very good thing you've got the cough button. I thought it was just your morning voice, but the morning voice that's here to stay, hey?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of a mix this morning, but...
How's the rest of COVID for you?
It hit me pretty bad. It's been almost 2 weeks now, so the start of last week, it hit me pretty bad with like pretty severe flu symptoms. I was just like generally knocked out. Spent about a week moving between my bed and the couch and the floor of the bathroom, depending on how I was feeling.
Oh no, that sounds really bad.
Yeah. But I got over that. I lost my sense of taste for a couple days. It's mostly back now, but still everything still feels like maybe it's a little muted in terms of flavor. But for the most part, I feel fine. It's just that my voice isn't back, and I've still got this cough.
Well, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was bound to happen. I'm lucky to have made it as long as I have without having COVID.
Yeah. So that was your first bout. That's good going.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, this is the first time.
You did have it go through your family early on, didn't you? And you weren't really sure if you had it or not.
Right. I never got specifically sick. I just assumed that I had it at the same time because everyone else was sick. But I never got any symptoms. And I was very recently off of the vaccines, so when they were most effective. Of course, now many months later, their effectiveness have worn off, so that's not as helpful.
Nope. But on the bathroom floor, I haven't heard people have it that bad. What were you doing on the floor?
Well, I was throwing up, James.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that was a side effect.
Well, it affects everyone a little differently. Maybe it was just me.
Maybe you had food poisoning at the same time.
Maybe. I did have the luck of I started getting sick the day after Christmas.
I was going to ask, how did it impact Christmas?
Yeah, so I made it through the holidays just barely. In fact, with the way like having split households works is my daughter's out of school for 2 weeks and I had her for the first week and her mom had her for the second week. So I actually made it through my entire week with her and then got sick immediately the next day.
Your body gave up after that week-long effort.
Right? So I got to do all of my planned holiday stuff and didn't interfere with that, so that's at least nice.
And since then, you've just been suffering through the holiday season. What's your, holiday season? Because for me, this is kind of the last weekend of holidays now, and then Monday I'm back at work, the day this show will go out.
Oh, really? I'd say the last 2 weeks of the year, basically nothing happens, but as of the second of the year, I've been fully back in the swing of work.
Yeah, I probably would if I could, but my office just closes, so there's no work to go to. Well, I don't actually go to the office, but you know what I mean. No one else.
Your office is closed for how long?
So from Christmas Eve or the day before, I can't remember where it fell exactly. 23rd, 24th until the 9th of January, everything is closed. The doors are locked.
Wow, that's a nice break.
Except it eats into your annual leave and you have no choice. So of your 4 weeks, that amount is gone every year just because they say so. So a lot of people also don't like it because they would prefer just to work. Like we have non-Christians working for us, who don't celebrate Christmas, but they're forced to take the break.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's odd that it pulls from your leave. My company is instituting kind of a similar policy. Starting this year, we have what they're calling a winter break, which is like 2 weeks of the offices are going to be closed. But that doesn't eat into our personal time to do that.
Oh, that is good.
So we also have unlimited time off. So it
Yep.
eating into personal time doesn't have a meaning at my company.
Yep. We've been over this unlimited time off.
Yep.
Interesting concept.
So not to completely rehash it, but I don't know how much we covered it in the past, but unlimited I think is generally can be dangerous because people are afraid to take advantage of it. But I really appreciate the way my company does it with it's unlimited with a minimum. You have to take at least 20 days off a year. So
that does sound good.
Yeah.
Do you get paid for the time that you take off?
Yeah, it's unlimited paid time off.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just checking. Well, I know what sort of baby I'm having now as of yesterday.
It seems like it's too early for that. I can't believe you know already.
Yeah, well, just yesterday.
All right. Tell me the big news.
You want to have a guess?
Well, for your sake, I really hope it's a girl.
It's not.
It's not.
A boy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 3 boys.
It's still exciting.
Yep. No, it'll be good.
Do you have any thoughts on names yet?
Yeah, we do have a name. Not sure if we're going fully public with it yet, so maybe I'll tell you off air. I don't know.
Yeah, we wouldn't want our one listener to hear as well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Do you want to have a guess at the name? That'd be tough for you. I'm basically doing family names, but you're not familiar with my extended family too much.
All right. So it's a baby, another name pulled from someone in your family.
That's right.
I'm just going to pull up your Facebook profile and pick a random friend. And we'll see what happens here.
Who's the first person?
If I type Vandermosel in the friend list, will that help me narrow it down, or is it not a Vandermosel name?
I can't even tell you any further. Look,
you can't. Okay, is it Philip?
That is an incredible guess because we have 2 names, and it was going to be blah blah or Philip. Amazing that you picked that, but it's not going to be Philip. But
okay. So Mako then.
Mako. Mako means shark in the Solomon Islands, and that's where he got his name from. His nickname, at least. His name is Andrew. But anyway, let's stop this game. I can't say any more.
I'm doing too good at this. Okay.
Yeah, amazing. You picked Philip straight up.
You have very few Vandermosels in your friend list. It wasn't that special of a guess.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's like maybe a dozen.
Yeah, right. They're not all on Facebook, I suppose.
All right. I finally I broke down. I took my phone's case off.
Oh.
I don't know what the inciting incident was. Actually, I think it was a post I had read on Mastodon or something. Mm-hmm. I can't even tell you who it was anymore. It was a couple weeks ago. Someone was talking about how much nicer their phone felt without a case on, and they can't imagine putting a case on an iPhone. And I was like, I remember when I was that person, and I took my case off just to remind myself what it felt like, and really experience it for the first time because I had a case on my iPhone, basically from the start with the 14 Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not previous phones, right?
Right. Yeah, not previous phones.
Yeah.
I took the case off, and I couldn't bring myself to put it back on. It's so much nicer.
Don't you find it quite slippery though? That's almost as big a reason as protecting the phone for me now. It's that I find them so slippery.
I've heard that comment a lot online. So many people complain about iPhone being slippery, but it's never been a problem for me. Like in what situation is the iPhone being slippery affecting you?
It just feels less sure in my hands. It feels like I have to baby it. Like I'm just going to put it in my pocket. Oh, I'd better do that carefully. Because I'd hate for it to just slip, as you know. It catches on the corner of the pocket and then hits the ground naked, butt first.
I did that on like day one with my iPhone 5. It fell right out of my hand onto concrete.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just not something I've ever concerned myself with. Like, I notice it feels slipperier, sure, but it's like a premium slip, you know? It feels good in the hand.
It slides right on in.
Yeah. And I still have my tempered glass screen protector on it.
Yeah, I don't know how you can do that. I know you've got like the good one, but I just hate screen protectors far more than I had a case.
Well, maybe it's the same as the case situation where, like, if I peeled it off, I couldn't bring myself to put another one on. But, you know, it's a nice tempered glass one, so it just feels like I'm touching the screen. And I don't know what... If you can't tell
it's there, then it's fine. You may as well not be there.
I really can't. There was, with the iPhone 12, when they switched to flat-sided phones, there was a year where screen protectors had, like, an adjustment period, and there was kind of a rough edge where if you caught the edge, you could feel that it's a little sharp. But I'm not noticing that as much with this one. I've got to like go out of my way to try to notice the edge of the screen protector.
Yeah, you have to put me on. Or why don't you? Do you remember the name of it or something, just so I can record it for posterity?
Yeah, I think I'm using the D brand tempered glass screen protector.
That's right. Yeah.
And the nice thing about the D brand one is that, you know, they send you a couple. So if this one ever gets scratched up or damaged, I have a backup already.
Perfect. I guess it makes a difference having Apple Care as well, doesn't it? Apple Care Plus. It gives you a bit of surety.
Yeah, if I drop my phone, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's, if anything, it's an excuse to go to the Apple Store.
Like I should have done with those stupid AirPods. I had another exchange experience. If you want to hear another short story, it's not Apple related at all, but it's a bad story. So my camera started acting up at a wedding. Of course, I had a backup with me, but so I had to send it off to the Fujifilm repair center. Sent it off like the second week of November. They get it, you know, half a week later. It's going to be $700 to fix it. Okay, I'll eat that. Wow. It's a bit of a pain, but I'll eat it to fix it. Sits with them for like 2 weeks. I mean, they're just replacing a part. They're not doing a repair. Sits with them for 2 weeks, no action. So I call up and say, you know, what's happening? They said, oh yeah, it's next on the bench. Of course, what rubbish. And 2 hours later, I get like a job complete. Here's your tracking number. We've sent it back to you.
Okay.
That was like the start of December. Camera just seemingly goes missing until yesterday. So start of December until yesterday. It turns up. And of course, I'm ecstatic because I actually had a job to do this morning. So I really could use it. Open it up. And they've sent it back with the faulty part still attached to it instead of the new part, which I paid $700 for.
What?
I, of course, went apeshit on the email. You know, Friday night already it was closed. I couldn't call them, but probably for the best. I've just had such a terrible run of repairs recently with the AirPods and now the camera.
So you called and asked for an update, and they're just like, we're just going to ship it back to this guy.
Yeah, right? Paid his money. Calls us up to annoy us 2 weeks later. Let's just send him back the crap he sent in.
So what happened to the camera in the post? Like, what did the tracking information say for the last month?
It had, like, lodged. start of December, and then twice in the in-between time, it just updated at like 12:00, shipping delayed. So, of course, it was just like an automated, quick chuck something in the tracking to placate the customer. But nothing genuine until on board for delivery 6 weeks later.
It's kind of just that season where mail takes longer.
But I mean, when you're sending around like multi-$1,000 cameras, you send it good. You send it express post or in a courier. Or you don't just like chuck it in Australia Post and hope for the best. Like, this is a worldwide company. This is Fujifilm.
Maybe they did replace the part and it got damaged in the mail.
No, it had the exact same wear markings as I sent to them. So,
okay.
No. That would have possibly been worse.
Man, so you're gonna have to ship it all the way back. You're gonna be without your camera again for another month at least, and then maybe they'll replace the part.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that bad. When I sent it to them, I didn't know exactly what the problem was, but it turned out the problem was on a removable piece of the camera, and the camera is basically usable without that piece. So now I can just send off that removable piece. Thankfully.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't give you a hard time about it.
Yep. I'll let you know on Monday morning.
Too bad there's no Fujifilm stores to just go into. Talk to a Fujifilm genius.
Yep. Nothing of the sort.
So, were you able to do your gig today without your camera?
I did it with the camera in like the gimped form. Oh, it's the viewfinder that's broken, so it still has an LCD. So,
okay.
It was incredibly difficult because it was a very bright day, and it's difficult to see an LCD, especially to get like something in focus under the bright sun. But I got it done. It was all right. I'm happy with the shots.
I had a Fujifilm camera enter my household in the last few weeks as well.
What? Go on.
What?
I love camera talk.
Okay. This is great. It is a Christmas present that my brother got for my daughter. It's one of those Fujifilm Instax cameras, like the Polaroid style, prints the picture.
I was just printing Instax today. I love Instax.
Oh yeah. She loves it as well, and I guess the problem with the Polaroid style cameras is that the gimmick is so appealing that she doesn't want to wait to find something interesting to take a picture of. So we have like a picture of the laundry room that she's printed out and put in her little photo album, and yeah. So it's a fun toy, but it's the gift that keeps on giving in terms of never-ending expenses.
The film is so expensive. Man, at least try and buy it like on special in the 60 packs. So then you get it down to like your money, probably like 40-50 cents a sheet instead of $1 a sheet.
Yeah, I that was one of the first things I did getting home from family Christmas, and she had gotten the cameras. I went on Amazon and I bought like a bulk pack of the Instax. And it's like they're stuck up in a cabinet, and it's like you got to do like some chores to earn your next I don't know what they're called, like your block of photos.
Yep. Nice tactic.
So otherwise they'd be all gone already.
Instax are a real hit at the gigs that I do. So because I have like Fujifilm digital cameras, they have like built-in Instax connectivity features. So I've actually just got an Instax printer. So you just load the exact same film into the printer, and then you type the code of the printer into the camera, and just shoot some portraits of some people, and then while they eat dinner, go and print off a bunch of Instax and hand them out. Always goes down a treat.
So you say things like you do that's like weddings and stuff?
Yeah, that would be at a wedding, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Christmas gifts, the iPad was a big hit.
Excellent. That's the iPad Mini.
Yeah, the new iPad Mini. Surprisingly, her immediate take wasn't like that she can get rid of her old iPad Mini and iPod that don't do anything anymore or don't run her apps well. She wanted to keep them all and have specific uses for them. Like, this one does everything and it's better. She's like, no, I need all of them.
How cute.
So she sounds just like me. But alongside the iPad, she got the Osmo programming educational kit, and I've been really, really impressed with how much she's enjoyed doing those activities and how quickly she's picked up on it and how far she's gotten in the program already. It's got physical blocks that you can arrange, like instructions for this on-screen character. Like there's like move forward and jump, and there's like loop commands, and you can record and play back commands, and she's gotten the hang of it really quickly, and she's building out like complex, dozen step commands all at once and running them, and
nice.
So yeah, and she's enjoying it. So I think that was a hit. I think is a good investment, especially with the Osmo is so much more than just programming. You can, now that I have the base, like the stand and the mirror that clamps to the top of the iPad so the front-facing camera can view the table. There's a lot of accessories you can get with it. So I'll probably be exploring other Osmo options in the future. Like they have one I know it's basically a whiteboard that you can draw pictures on, and the picture like comes to life and animates on the iPad, and so lots of neat toys in that genre. And then the other accessory I got to go with her new iPad was a Sphero, which is the little remote control ball that you can run with an app on the iPad, which I also picked up in the vein of there's like educational programming kind of things you can do with a Sphero. But that one has not been as popular. I think it's a little more high level. Like as far as how you program it, it's very similar to Osmo, but it's all on screen. You lay out these move forward, move backward steps.
Mm-hmm.
But anything outside of those basic steps, it's geared more towards educators. Like you got to have an educator account, and then I've got to enroll her as a student, and I've got to assign her lessons.
Right.
And it's too tedious for her to just pick up and do on her own. I've got to be a lot more involved. So we haven't explored the more advanced educational stuff with that yet. But she likes the toy enough as it is to roll it around the house and knock over the cones it came with and things like that.
Nice. Doing that with the iPad.
Right, yeah, the iPad's the remote for it.
Yeah, cool. So could you just use it as like a remote control toy without going through the programming steps?
Yeah, that's what she's mostly been doing. It's got a lot of gimmicky controls. Like it's got like maybe a half dozen different control options. It has the basic, like you just like swipe your finger in the direction you want the ball to go. Mm-hmm. It's got like a microphone activated one where you still swipe in the direction you want to go, but you got to yell into your microphone for it to roll, and it stops moving every time you stop yelling.
Gosh.
It's got a gyroscope one where you tilt the iPad to make the ball roll.
Ooh,
it's got one where you flick the screen like you're kicking a soccer ball. So it seems like they just like explored every option for controlling it and threw it in this app.
That sounds very fun.
Yeah, fun toy.
Hannah's got a remote control car for Christmas as well. Hasn't stopped playing with it. Not quite as high tech. It's just the simple radio control thing.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a small indoor toy, or one of those big, like a bigger outdoor kind of getting over dirt and stuff.
An outdoor toy. Sorry, an indoor one. Yeah, just a little one. It's got tracks. just 2 tracks, and then a stick for each track, forward and back. Nothing fancy. But of course, now I'm like, now I need something with like a bit more torque and bigger wheels to take outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
I have in a box somewhere that I still need to get out and play with someday. The IRL Mario Kart. Have you seen those?
No, never even heard of it.
It was a game for the Switch that came out a couple years ago, but it's a physical RC car. And it looks like Mario in a go-kart, and you can set up these markers around your house, and then you control it with a Nintendo Switch, and the cart has a camera in it, so you see like a first-person view of your cart, and it puts AI racers on this track, and you're racing the cart like on a Mario Kart race against AI racers on a track that you've built in your own house.
What? That is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And have you tried it and boxed it up?
No, I haven't opened the box.
Tried it?
That's my problem with Nintendo Switch stuff. I got the Switch on launch day and have purchased pretty much every game that's come out in the last, I guess, like 5 years now that seemed interesting for it, but have not opened most of them.
Crazy. Oh, is this the link you sent me? All right, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Only $100. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. So that's got a car in the roll hoop. A camera in the roll hoop. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So the problem 5 years ago when I was buying a bunch of Switch games is that like Elizabeth was too little to get enjoyment out of them. Mm-hmm. And so if I didn't have time to play with them, then they're just going to sit unopened. But she's getting big enough now. I need to like revisit these and start pulling stuff out because, like a remote control car, I think that's a toy she could get a kick out of as a 7-year-old and have control over, that a 3-year-old wouldn't have had figured out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to start playing some games.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, this looks so cool. This is right up my alley, this sort of thing. Pity I don't have a Switch. You put me on a very expensive course of investigation here, David.
They're 5 years old. I think they're getting replaced in the next year or two with a next-gen console. You could pick one up for not much these days, I imagine.
Oh, really? Didn't they just come out with an OLED one there last year?
I mean, yeah, they updated the screen, but like the actual hardware of the console is the same, so it can't play any new games,
Yeah, okay.
And the screen never appealed to me because I play it 100% docked.
Speaking of playing games, so I've got this computer here. All it does now is play games. Every other task has been removed from this PC and migrated back to the Mac.
The same slow old Mac, or did you get a new Mac?
No, it's the same old Mac. I'm not calling it slow. It's sitting right here next to me.
It could hurt his feelings.
Yeah. It was a mistake. I truly regret spending money on a PC now.
What happened?
It was supposed to make my life so much faster. Well, my computing life so much faster, but I don't know. I've just spent I've dumped so many hours into trying to get things to work on the PC. It's been just a complete waste of time. I mean, Lightroom was the big one because Lightroom is fairly slow on the MacBook. It's possibly even slower on a brand new PC. Lightroom just seems to be, by comparison, incredible on macOS. It runs so badly on Windows, and particularly Windows 11. After quite a lot of troubleshooting, some suggestions were go back to Windows 10, and in fact it does run a lot better on Windows 10 than Windows 11, which is a pain. Because I don't want to be stuck on an old OS, of course. Mm-hmm. But by comparison, it still ran better on macOS on 10-year-old hardware. So That task of doing photos was removed from the PC, put back on the Mac.
And this is Lightroom Classic?
This is Lightroom Classic, yeah.
Okay.
Which is still like the top software for photography. I know Lightroom Mobile or whatever it's called is like the more modern architecture, but I don't think you'll find many serious or working photographers who use the non-classic version, the new Lightroom.
And how did doing the show on the new computer go?
That actually went okay, except when I tried to put chapters in the file, and apparently there's no software for Windows that lets you add chapters to an MP3 file. I should have just moved the MP3 to the Mac and done it, but for some reason I wasn't thinking of that at the time, so last show had no chapters. Yeah, amazing. And the very latest bit of fun with the PC is that this was just 2 days ago. It had been running, as a computer, just doing computery things for a few weeks, and then it said I need to do a Windows update. Did the Windows update, rebooted, blue screen of death, and I've not been able to recover from that blue screen of death yet. So
oh no,
it's actually just unplugged and on a desk behind me now doing nothing. So that has been my foray into Windows and PCs after 10 years, and it was truly disappointing.
And now you've learned your lesson.
Learned my lesson. I almost want to break it down into parts, sell it, and get that Mac Mini that I should have just waited 9 days for, whatever it was.
Now you just got to wait a little longer. There's rumors that the M2 Mac Mini is going to be announced sometime in the spring.
Yep. That'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, might as well get the best. So blue screen, you can't even play your VR racing sims on there.
Can't even play the games I don't really want to play anyway. I don't really like playing games.
I thought you were going to get a whole controller and everything so you could do your sims on there.
Yeah, I've got it all. Well, I've got a wheel that I'm borrowing, but besides that, I've got everything else. Yeah, it's fun, but I like doing it as a social activity, but I don't just like sitting here at night playing VR racing. What
is a social way to do that? You both playing together, or one person's watching the other one play?
The way we typically do it is, one person is watching the other person play, and it would be like, okay, you've set a time on this track, and then the other person takes the wheel and has to beat that time, and then you slowly work till you've got the best time possible, and then you might do a race each, something like that. So it's not co-op, because in the past we've been in the same place with only one set of equipment. But that's good fun.
Yeah, my VR PC has not managed to be set back up since moving into this house.
Oh, and that time is
almost a year ago.
Along.
The last couple times I've moved, I've barely forced myself to set it up just for the sake of, I own this, it should be set up in case I ever want to play it. But really, I have no interest in VR stuff. The honeymoon's worn off.
Yeah. And often I feel when I'm doing VR racing, the graphics would just be so much better if I was looking at a screen.
Oh, really? I didn't super get into the racing sim stuff, but I did find that the controls felt more natural for some reason in VR. Like, it felt more like driving.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's almost not worth the trade-off.
Yeah. When you can't read any text, that's always a big bummer.
The other thing I gave a crack, though, in VR and PC world was Microsoft Flight Simulator. That is a bit of fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not like a serious flight simulator person, but just with the Quest 2 controllers, a little bit frustrating because there's a lot of keyboard use in Flight Simulator. But you can like grab at the levers and stuff in the virtual cockpit with the Quest controllers, which is fun. And yeah, crashed a lot of planes.
You fly over your house?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be the first thing I'd do is I want to go see my house.
Again, the graphics are just so poor in VR compared to on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it felt like I was missing out on the experience almost doing it in VR, despite the novelty of it.
You ever try like the Beat Saber games?
Yes, I do like a good Beat Saber.
Yeah. That's still like in my mind the best example of a good VR game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we have reached a milestone.
I can't believe it's already been 5 years.
It has gone very quickly. Thank you for being here with me all this time.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out across the world. It was 5 years ago and setting this up. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, and we've gotten the opportunity to talk with some pretty neat people along the way.
Yeah, some names. We've talked with names. It still sounds surreal when I think, oh yeah, we had a podcast with Renee Ritchie.
Right. Yeah. Who's gone on to be a YouTube partner rep now? Have you seen his career changes?
Creator liaison.
Yeah, creator liaison. That's right. So he's a bigwig now.
Yep. Not that he wasn't before, because he started these companies and then had a massive YouTube channel himself and blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah. He's been a big name for a long time. So he's an exciting one to get on the show. All of our guests have been exciting ones. Our regular relationship with Christian has been great. And then Guy Rambo is a big name to get on the show too. I'm still impressed that we've got to talk to him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So and Will, who has gone on to do some cool things. I use his Pestle app as my cooking app now.
Oh, really? I haven't been following Will. So he's got a cooking app.
He's gone all in on a cooking app. It's got some very nice quality of life things in it. It's got the ability to import recipes from basically any method. So if you've got a cookbook, you can use the camera to scan in the recipe and it breaks it down into these are the list of ingredients and these are the steps. You can give it a URL of, one of those websites. It's like a story for the first 2 pages and then the recipe at the end. And it'll parse all of that and break it down to ingredients and steps and get rid of all the fluff.
Oh, the story.
It's got voice control, which sounded gimmicky, but has really nice, Elizabeth and I did a lot of Christmas baking for the neighbors a couple weeks ago, and being able to put my iPhone on a MagSafe stand and being able to have it go to the next step automatically just by giving it a voice control instruction instead of having to reach up and touch my phone with dirty hands. It was really nice. It's got dynamic island support and live activities, so you can keep an eye on a ongoing recipe even from the lock screen. So he's put a lot of work into it.
I have downloaded it as you were speaking.
Punya's gone on to work for Apple.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, he's a design prototyper at Apple.
That's Punya Chatterjee.
Uh-huh. So we've got one person at least that we know inside of Apple.
Are those all the guests we've had?
It could be. It feels like we have more, but it might be because Christian comes back, at least once a year.
Mm-hmm. I think it might be.
I would feel really bad if we forgot someone now.
I know. Quick, rack your brain.
Yeah. 5 years is a long time to remember back.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they're not guests, but I think it's worth calling out, the original other hosts of the show, David and Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they've gone on to do specifically, but I know David's had at least some success because he was a guest on another podcast talking about, I think it was Kubernetes a couple years ago.
Huh, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, development technology that I am not versed enough in to even give a high level.
Okay.
I should, because it's very popular these days, but not something I work with. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll back through the show titles to see if there's anything else. Oh, you know what? I don't have to scroll back through show titles because if you go to our YouTube channel, every episode with a guest is in its own playlist.
Oh, very clever.
Mm-hmm. I just got to find our YouTube channel. Oh, actually, that is also easy because we have the new
Vanity URL.
Yeah, vanity URL. I don't remember the route to it, though. Like, you have to put an ad or something in there? I don't know. I'm not as good as doing this on the fly. Found the channel. All right, playlists. Guest episodes. Will Bishop.
Damn it.
Christian Seelig. Punya Chatterjee. Jimmy Rambo.
Renee, Christian. Nope, that's it. We got them all.
All right, great job.
Nice.
Also worth calling out, even though, you got to put the @ sign. So it's youtube.com/@BlueBubblePod.
Okay, good to know. That's weird. Whoa.
Yeah.
Weird having an @ sign in a URL.
I agree. Worth mentioning too, despite name changes over the years, or name change over the years, and our less prominent feature of the r/Apple subreddit, we are still officially like the podcast of the r/Apple subreddit. Like, we're still linked in the sidebar.
Still in the sidebar.
So, for all the good it does us to be there, you can still find us that way.
I'd be surprised if we got a click a month out of that.
Yeah, no one checks sidebars.
Nope.
So, listenership was higher back when we got a sticky post every time a new episode released in the subreddit.
Yep.
But engagement wasn't any higher. Like, we didn't get very many comments on that post, besides the one argument I got in that one time with a guy about you're stealing the subreddit's name by being called the r/Apple show.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah.
So I don't know how beneficial it actually was to us to be there anyway, because who knows how many of those listeners were more just like crawler bots or something, clicking on links.
Oh, right. Yeah, I hadn't considered that. Or just very casual drive-by listeners.
So I didn't bring any I didn't bring any wood things for you for our wood anniversary.
Are you sure? Have you checked?
Sorry.
That's all right. I didn't bring you anything either.
Are we gonna still try to do the giveaway thing?
Well, didn't have much of a response to it. Probably the wrong time of year to do a giveaway or to do any sort of engagement sort of thing. But I think it's only fair that Crazy Techno should be the recipient of the AirTags.
Only fair, yeah.
Thank you for the comment, Crazy Techno. I'm glad we make your commute more bearable. And an original listener as well. Very respectable.
Yeah, listener since day one. Does that mean he found us through... maybe that means he found us through the subreddit. I don't know how else he would have since day one. Say he? Don't know that. They found us on the subreddit since day one. I'm just going off of it statistically based on our listenership metrics. But yeah, they've endured a lot of not so good episodes and still made it to our just kind of okay episodes days. So thanks for sticking with us.
All the editing though was perfect throughout the run from episode 1. Yeah.
My audio was not though.
We've come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
How was our first episode publicized? Was it on the Apple subreddit?
It was, but it wasn't a sticky. It was just a post that you put on the subreddit. We didn't start getting stickied until like episode 15, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm very impressed by because that seems way too early. It's like, we've made 15 podcast episodes, Trust us to be a weekly post on your subreddit.
Yeah.
So, but I guess that represents almost a year of work for us.
Yep, true.
I say work for us, but work for you. I just have to sit and talk for a couple hours every couple weeks.
You work.
So, occasionally, like, put in the 100 episode list of clips. That was quite an effort a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now you have brought some quality to the lineup of me and you.
I appreciate it.
Anything else to add on 5 years? Or do we have to talk about Apple Fitness Plus?
Well, do we want to express to Techno how they can win their prize? Are you going to reach out to them?
Oh, no, they've definitely won it. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, are you going to send a message?
I'll ascertain their location and address and various relatives. Yeah, I'll reach out.
Next time we do, if we do another giveaway, it might be more compelling to have a finite, this is what we're giving away, and not like enter a drawing for something of AirTags quality or better.
I mean, we could just leave it up to them to choose their item of AirTag 4-pack value. I'm easy.
Just send an Apple gift card.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
Yeah. That might actually be the easier way to go, depending on where this person's located, versus shipping AirTags. So here's a credit, so you think you can purchase it wherever you are.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. I had to ship a HomePod Mini to the UK 2 years ago, and that wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm. So you bought it at the Apple US store and then shipped it?
I bought it online and just chose their address as the shipping address, and it worked fine.
Yeah, but which Apple store were you on?
I was on the US Apple store, I guess. Or maybe I wasn't.
And they shipped to the UK. I find that difficult to believe.
Maybe I did go to... I don't know. It's been a couple years. I don't remember how. But it wasn't tricky to pull off, however I did it.
Yeah, I don't imagine it would be tricky. And the air tags are much smaller as well.
That's true.
I'm going to set them all up beforehand and then track them as they go.
You're going to find your house. I guess you already know the address, so that's not that helpful.
Yeah.
So we can talk about Fitness Plus, or we can do a return to form and just like scan the r/Apple subreddit and pick the top stories to talk about.
Look, the Fitness Plus is the only news, as far as I can tell.
Are you big into kickboxing, or why is that such big news to you?
It actually wasn't the kickboxing I was interested in. I'm more interested in this sleep meditation theme. Because I've been using podcasts to get to sleep for quite a while. But as my addiction has grown stronger, I've really narrowed it down to only one podcast now can get me to sleep, which is No Such Thing as a Fish. And
really?
I'm on my
that would not put me to sleep.
third listen through of the entire catalogue. So I need help. And I'm looking at Fitness Plus as that help.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I would need something a lot calmer than No Such Thing as a Fish to fall asleep to.
I don't know what it is about this podcast, but nothing else will do it for me. Anything else will just keep me awake.
It bores you to death now.
It can't be that, though.
You got to get into ASMR, James. Start falling asleep to that.
Yeah, I was going to be like, "What are you listening to? Can I have the other AirPod?" No. No. Oh, that reminds me. Last night I was watching the new Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Okay.
Have you seen it by any chance?
It's been out for a little while, right? Because I think I saw it like a couple years ago.
Oh, really? No,
maybe I'm thinking of a different Pinocchio. There was a live action Pinocchio that came out a couple years ago.
This is stop motion.
Oh no, I haven't seen it then.
Okay, let's see, 2022. Yeah, I don't really remember the Pinocchio story, but this one is set during World War II, and it has certain elements of World War II in it. But anyway, so last night, just Yasmin's like, "Oh, what are you going to watch tonight?" I was like, "I'm going to watch the new Pinocchio." 40 minutes later, she just sat down next to me, and I just paused the scene. As you know, Yasmin's German, and I paused the scene, and it just so happened that everyone was giving the Hitler salute, and Mussolini was standing in the middle of it. She was like, "I thought you were watching Pinocchio."
Oh man!
No, but I haven't finished it yet. But great movie, can highly recommend. Specifically, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and not the Disney one, the other one that came out recently.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I wasn't even aware there was a new one. Looks like it's on Netflix.
Yeah, seems to be.
Okay. The one streaming platform I don't have. You can find it in other places.
There are other places. Hit me up if you need help.
Get access to your Plex server.
Don't run Plex.
I can't imagine how inefficient that would be to stream a Plex server from the other side of the world.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
I'll use iCloud Drive instead. Send it to you next month.
Yeah, there you go. So the sleep meditations seem like a wind down before bed thing, not necessarily something you listen to while you're falling asleep.
It's a fairly grey line, that area for me. I think if I put it on while I'm in the dark and lying down, it may lead to sleep. And maybe even get the claws of the insidious No Such Thing as a Fish podcast out of my brain.
So does it just keep playing like all night while you sleep?
No, I don't have continuous play turned on. That's next level addiction, I think.
So it like reaches the end of the episode and stops, or you have like a sleep timer set, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, I just use the end of the episode as the sleep timer, and I would rarely reach the end of an episode.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day, they were about like 30 minutes, but nowadays they're more like an hour episode. But you know, an hour episode will do me 2 nights.
So you think you must have a ton of trivia just in your head then, between what you hear just before drifting off and what is influencing your dreams?
I'm sure I do. It's all in my subconscious, though. None of it's in my living consciousness. Occasionally I spit out a random fact, though.
Like, I don't know where that came from. I just know it.
Is that what I'm saying to myself?
That'd be the assumption if it's coming from your subconscious, right?
Ah, yeah, right.
I'm very far behind on No Such Thing as a Fish. I'm very far behind on ATP, too, which is like generally my one staple. If I'm up to date on anything, it's that one.
All right.
I was given a large, somewhat large, a $250 like learning stipend last year at work, and it was about to expire at the end of the year. So I quickly bought like a couple dozen audiobooks with all my personal development, I think is what it's called, my personal development stipend. So I'm trying to get through these audiobooks now. So I'm on that path at the moment.
Yeah. What sort of topics did you pick up?
They're all, or mostly around the concept of like leadership development, because I'm kind of new to the manager leader role. So that's where I'm at. I'm currently listening to a book called Death by Meeting. And there's a couple styles of professional resource books. There's some that are very much just like, here's the facts, here's what you need to know, this is how you can do better at this one aspect of whatever. And then there's some that try to turn it into a story. Death by Meeting is one of those that makes it a story, and I'm starting to get tired of that genre of book, because there's like this fictional person who works at this fictional corporation who has like, oh, this one, in this case it's like the son of a family friend who happens to have Tourette's, so he always speaks his mind no matter what, and he just happens to spit nothing but truth the whole time, and I'm learning so much from him. But you gotta get through 3 chapters of like, I went to have dinner with my friend, and then the next day I went to work, and then his son told me this, and so it's like, just get rid of all of the filler and just tell me whatever you want me to know from this book. Some books do it better than others. I thought Leadership and Self-Deception did it okay. It's the same concepts wrapped in a story, but not as much filler. But this one, not so much.
Okay. Good to know what to avoid.
If you're ever wanting leadership books, now you know.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. But speaking of ATP, I did a couple months ago, I finally subscribed, like became a member of ATP, specifically because I wanted the discount on the chicken hat. I don't know if you're aware of the chicken hat.
Did you get one?
I have a chicken hat, yeah.
Nice.
But I have kept my membership so much. I've kept my membership because I've enjoyed the unedited version of the podcast so much that I've started listening to that, and it's at least 30 minutes longer than every other episode, than the premium edited together ones. So I've enjoyed that. Subscribing to a podcast directly in the Apple Podcast app is not very fun because I can put the link to the RSS feed in the app and it loads up just fine like every other podcast. But 90% of the time when I click on an episode, I get an error message like this episode is not available, and I've got to try it a couple times before it plays. Right. And in CarPlay, it's impossible. Mm-hmm. I've got to like pull over and pull it up on my phone before it'll start playing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think it's time to change podcast apps because it's not just the like manually RSS added podcasts that do that for me in the Apple Podcasts app. It's like every podcast needs 2 or 3 taps to get going.
Oh, really?
You need to check out Overcast. It's far superior.
Maybe it's time. I have a hard time bringing myself to that point, but it is annoying. And hopefully if there's one podcast Overcast is good at playing, it'll be ATP.
If there's one, it'll be that. Yep. Guaranteed.
Yeah. So it has a CarPlay app, right?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
And it's much better than the Apple Podcast CarPlay app.
All right.
It has had some rocky history, but at the moment it's pretty solid.
My car is now like the one place I still listen to podcasts, so that's what's important to me. I can't do audiobooks in the car because I'm trying to take notes as I listen, and I can't do that when I'm driving. So,
yeah. I mean, the Overcast CarPlay app has chapter support. Need I say more?
Ooh, okay. That's the one problem with my listening to unedited show, though. There's no chapter art. There's no chapters. They just finish recording and immediately publish it.
Look, if you were a real fan, you would listen live.
I can't do live.
Why not?
My schedule does not allow. I'm busy. I'm a busy person. I can only get in my ATP in like 20-minute chunks.
Okay. But wouldn't it be at night your time? Don't they record at night? Like late-ish as well?
Yeah, it is somewhat late. I imagine if I specifically structured my schedule around it, I could be available.
I'm not sure the commitment's quite warranted for a podcast.
Yeah.
So also a new season of Time to Walk is coming to Fitness Plus.
I have not listened to a single one of those yet.
I listened to the highlights reel.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like, here's a podcast that you're probably not interested in. That's the vibe I get from it. So I've just put a podcast on.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather listen to a podcast when I'm walking. Well,
yeah.
I was only half joking, but I did skim the Apple subreddit and pull out just a couple highlights on the front page of headlines that are worth mentioning. If you could humor me for a minute.
Please, go on.
Okay. In a least surprising headline yet, Apple's mixed reality headset likely to debut at Spring Media Event, or WWDC, which is elaborates from a Ming-Chi Kuo post, came out 2 days ago, where he said the headset's been delayed once again, because initially we were anticipating maybe a January event for the headset. Now he's saying that the software development tools aren't ready for it, and there's some mechanical issue where it's too fragile if it gets dropped. So maybe we'll see it at WWDC. But I'm not holding my breath for a headset anymore.
Yeah, well, this is the year for it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been saying that
for many years.
How long now?
The first year I was confident this is the year of the headset was when the Series 5 Apple Watch came out. So that would have been 4 years ago.
Right. And you called 2023 all the way back then. So what's a wait of 6 more months then? If we don't get it in March, maybe we'll get it in September.
Now, I was saying I was confident that 4 years ago the headset was coming out that year.
Oh,
not that I was
okay.
calling 2023.
All right. I misunderstood.
Yeah, because that was the first year that there was that new version of Springboard or whatever for virtual reality that was uncovered in a iOS beta. I was like, oh, it must be almost here if they're finding these in the betas.
You have been waiting a long time then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's become the new Apple Silicon. That was our thing for the first half of the show's run, was like, they just got to make an ARM processor for their computers. And now they've done that. So now we're just talking about the headset for the second half of the show's run.
At least it's not air power.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Next headline. Apple has reportedly canceled the next iPhone SE.
For what reason would they cancel it?
So this is another Ming Chi Kuo post coming from just the end of last year. He's speculating that it's due to consistently lower than expected shipments of mid to low end iPhones, like the SE3, 13 mini, and the 14 Plus, which is apparently super underperforming.
So people just want the expensive iPhone. It doesn't really ring true with my experience, though. People want the cheapest iPhone. Plenty of people I know buy the iPhone SE.
Right, yeah. I think the three phones Ming Chi Kuo listed specifically, SE3, 13 mini, and 14 Plus, aren't great examples to get the indication, because like SE3 was released 6 months after the 12 mini, which I think a lot of people wanted a cheap iPhone went for the 12 mini instead of the SE3.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time the SE3 came out, that market was kind of already saturated. 13 mini came out. I don't have an answer for 13 mini specifically, except maybe people that want a cheap phone don't buy one every year, so they already got their fill and didn't need a 13 mini. And then 14 Plus, I just think that's a flop in general. It doesn't appeal to anyone in my mind.
iPhone buyers are just a higher end market when they go for the bigger screen.
Yeah. Secondary concern is the SE4 was supposed to be the model where they go to all screen design, and apparently that was going to lead to higher cost, and so maybe not ideal for the SE brand.
That makes sense for something to be cancelled, though.
Yeah.
Because the SE being, the phone that's created off the old manufacturing process. I mean, it doesn't ring true if it's using like a current manufacturing process.
Well, all screen design could be like a 10R,
Yeah, okay.
We've had all screen iPhones for many years now.
Yeah, because that form factor is not sold, is it? On any other model. Like the edge screen with the curved sides.
Nope, the oldest iPhone they're selling is the iPhone 12.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what we need to do. That wasn't rumored to come until next year anyway. That was supposed to be a 2024 iPhone SE. So a lot can change between now and then still.
What if they just keep the Touch ID design and just keep putting newer chips in there? That's got to start becoming like a really cheap phone. I bet it already is.
I'm sure at some point Apple wants to be able to stop designing for this style of phone. Their operating system can move on finally.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that would be a cheap phone. And maybe that is what they'll do. This redesigned iPhone will get canceled, but they'll just throw a new processor in next year and call it a day.
Leave it for the year after. No harm in that.
This was also apparently supposed to be the phone that was going to debut the Apple designed modem after their Intel modem acquisition several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if or when we'll ever actually see it now. Maybe they'll still bring it to their flagship phones next year. But they've spent a long time working on this. Seems like they should have something by now.
It does, doesn't it? That whole story is just, it came and then it went, and then nothing ever came out of it. Like, they own a whole division of Intel that makes modems.
Yeah, the iPhone 7, I think, was the iPhone that switched to Intel modems. And the signal, at least where I lived at the time, was noticeably worse than my 6S was. And I was very frustrated with having an Intel modem in my phone. And of course, now they've gone back to Qualcomm since then. So hopefully their redesigned modems in the last 5 years have gotten better than that.
But then none of them are in the current phones, right? Everything is Qualcomm.
Right. Yep. Everything's Qualcomm.
Yeah. So what has this business unit been doing in all that time?
Well, the timing of all of Apple's acquisition of the division was like this. Intel's modem division announced, we can't crack the case with 5G. We're just going to do LTE only. And then 3 days later, there was an announcement that Apple bought Intel's modem division. So obviously to have 5G support, they had to go back to Qualcomm because Intel couldn't do it. So I guess they've been trying to get over whatever roadblock Intel hit all those years ago.
Mm. But haven't just yet.
I don't understand an acquisition takes a long time. So they were fully aware they were about to be acquired when they made the announcement they couldn't do 5G. I don't understand what the strategic reason was for making that announcement when they did.
To make it seem like it was an Intel failure, not an Apple failure.
Yeah,
kind of sweeps it under the rug if the company is bought immediately after.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Next one. This is actually just a text post that I saw on the front page by You Tough Butterscotch 1. And it says, for the love of God, Apple, block developers from charging to get access to new design features. This is specifically behind in-app purchases to unlock things like the new dynamic island functionality in some apps. And it reminded me of a conversation that we had with Christian, I think maybe even the first time he was on the show. Apollo was getting denied by App Review because he was trying to roll out Apollo Ultra, which unlocked push notifications, and Apple said you can't charge for just a feature of the phone.
Right, yeah.
But it seems like maybe they've backed off on that a little bit recently, because there are a few apps that do charge for dynamic island and live activity features. One of the top comments though is actually from the maker of the Carrot Weather app, and they specified that someone using a live activity or dynamic island of Carrot Weather is incurring background data updates, which is 45 times as much data usage as someone who only checks the app a couple times a day. So there is actually more cost for developers associated, at least in this case specifically, with using those features.
Oh, that's a tricky one then, isn't it? So it's actually costing Carrot more to support this feature.
Right.
So does he take a hit, or does he make the user pay for it?
Yeah, I think things like Carrot or like your Uber updates or sports scores or things like that, where you're actually pulling the web, that makes more sense to charge for than things that are done entirely on device. Like Pestle doesn't charge for this, I don't think, but they have live activities and dynamic island support just for like seeing what the next step is in the recipe. Obviously, that's not incurring a cost outside of the time it's spent to develop that feature, but not an ongoing cost. Or Apollo's live activities dynamic island, which is basically like a Tamagotchi.
Yep, very cute. I've yet to play with that. It's being just a Povo 13 Pro Max user.
Well, Christian's developed an entirely separate app called Pixel Pals. Have you seen that?
Rings a bell, but I haven't downloaded it.
Yeah, it's basically just the Tamagotchi from Apollo, but split into its own app, and it works for non-dynamic island phones as well. So you can put them like in widgets on your home screen, and I think somewhat controversially, he actually charges a subscription for that app. There's no like one-time purchase. You've got to pay an ongoing monthly subscription to use it. But
filthy developers.
It's seen immense popularity, and he put something out on Mastodon in the last week or so. It says he makes more money off Pixel Pals than Apollo.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. There is currently a lifetime unlock, but it does say Christmas on it, so maybe it's just a once-off.
Oh, yeah, potentially. You downloaded it already, huh?
I did.
I was surprised. Christian's getting a little ragged on here recently, but between Pixel Pals and I was on the Apple subreddit the other day. There was a thread about what's the best designed iOS apps that I should download and check out. And someone mentioned Apollo, and then there was a whole stream of people like, this is just this one guy developing it, and he's been promising us an iPad app for 5 years, and still haven't seen a screenshot of the new layout or anything. And
really,
his subreddit is treats him as a god, and so he's got a god complex, and even bug reports on his subreddit get downvoted now, so nothing ever gets fixed. And
it's probably Reddit employees doing that because they want you to use their own stupid app.
Yeah, they've got a set of bots trained for every time Apollo gets mentioned. He comes in and spams it with negative comments.
Yeah, I think so. It sure sounds like it.
So,
yeah, the amount that Reddit pushes their app is unbelievable.
But I say good for him. He found a way to make money. That's great. Support whatever he wants.
Yeah.
The fact that he's making more money off of an app that he threw together in like a month after the Dynamic Island stuff was announced, it's disappointing. It would be disappointing to me as a developer to like this app that I spent a decade pouring my heart and soul into is not getting the same return on investment as this little gimmick. But if one can fund the other, then that's great.
There's some beauty of the App Store in there.
Yeah. I think it's specifically TikTok. Like there was he went viral on TikTok because someone was like, look how cute this little Tamagotchi thing is.
Well, that's what happened to David Smith, who made tons of apps. He had a plethora of apps on the App Store, and then his one that let you customize the iOS 15 when all those...
the Widget Smith?
The Widget Smith, yeah, that's it. Thank you. And then that went viral on TikTok, and overnight became more profitable than all his other apps combined that he'd spent years and years and countless hours working on.
Yeah, that's really it. It's like you and your apps can be popular among, us 30-something tech enthusiasts. That doesn't mean as much as getting the high schoolers interested. That's where your money's going to come from, right?
That's where the money is.
Yeah.
By 30-something, do you mean 30-year-olds, or there are 30 of us?
I was saying 30-year-olds, and I was trying to be generous because I'm not quite 30, but
you're wise for your age, though.
Yeah. Early parenthood does that to you.
Yeah, I bet.
And then the one other post that I pulled out here is, I don't know if you saw the new MKBHD video. He had a video he put out a few days ago called "What is Happening with iPhone Camera?" And
go on.
There's a specific video about how the iPhone camera has gotten like worse since the iPhone 7, which is a conversation that we just had recently. Yeah,
he reckons it's peaked with the iPhone 7.
Not that it's peaked, but just that it was better in some ways.
It's the truth.
He still thinks the current iPhone camera is the best all-around camera. But he specifically highlights the way that apparently the iPhone's camera is leaning really heavily towards evenly lighting people's faces nowadays.
It does.
So even if the light is very directional, your face ends up looking like it's like evenly lit for some reason.
It's gross. It gets rid of the shadows, and that makes it look so unnatural. This is what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Nice to have so much support. Yep. Chuck that exposure slider down, people.
Yeah, and he also compared it to specifically the iPhone 14's camera to the Pixel 6 because Google had a thing going for many years where they used the exact same sensor from like the Pixel 3 all the way through the 5A and 6A have the same camera in it. And with that much time, they really were able to optimize their software processing of the images to account for this low resolution photo and really clean it up. But with the 6, they went to a 50 megapixel sensor, and the photos ended up looking over processed for that first generation because they were kind of using the old post processing with this new much higher resolution photo. And when they got to the 7, they seem to have optimized it in such a way that they don't look overly processed anymore. And so he's optimistic that with the 14 being the first big jump for the iPhone to 48 megapixels, that come next year, hopefully they'll be able to adjust their algorithms to account for that better, and the photos will look better, hopefully.
Well, they probably will, but that's not really where the problem started. Like, we didn't get to the 48 megapixel sensor and go, oh, suddenly all the lighting is flat. That started with, like, iPhone 10.
Right. Yeah, and he specifically says that, too. That's not just iPhone 14. Yeah, I encourage you to watch it. It sounded like a lot of the conversations we've had.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I definitely will watch that out of interest. I guess we can just live in hope that, we know that Apple takes YouTube feedback into account, especially from someone big like MKBHD. So it's probably too late for the next iPhone, but maybe 2024's iPhone will have some shadows brought back.
The thing I don't understand is, this is all software post-processing issues. Why is it that it takes a whole new generation of iPhone to see changes in how the camera stuff is done? Why can't they trickle these down to older iPhones? Obviously the reason is upsell generally, but they could potentially fix these software issues if they wanted to.
It's just always been the way. It probably saves so many resources to only to have your entire camera team only working on one phone every year instead of 10 phones.
That's true.
Can you imagine how much more efficient that would be?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. It would be. We'd probably get worse all around photos at that point because they're trying to optimize for everything.
And then you'd have all the people saying, oh, it was better before. Oh, the ANC was better before.
Well, that's already happening.
No. Imagine all those people when it comes to their camera and their 2-year-old camera getting, slightly technically better in some way and then falling down slightly in some other way. The subreddit would never hear the end of it.
All right. That's the handful of things that I just grabbed off the front page of the Apple subreddit.
Well, let me see if I can spot anything. Apple is cutting corners. Did you watch that? That sounds interesting.
No. What is that?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Well, don't pick a video then.
All right, hang on. Let me find a good one. The iMessage app drawer could definitely be improved upon. I think we can all just get on board with that.
I mean, it could be improved upon by going away. Like, who uses iMessage apps?
Yeah. Send it in the direction of the touch bar.
Yeah. That might be another thing where it's like those younger kids get a kick out of it more than we do. I don't know. Maybe it's popular with high schoolers. Maybe
it just needs its TikTok moment.
Yeah, there you go. Did you know you can play billiards in iMessage?
Out of CES, I haven't read this yet, but it sounds interesting. The AMD claims they've got a chip 30% faster than the M1 Pro with 30 hours of battery life. So Apple Silicon may have a competitor soon enough.
That's good. Competition is good. Hopefully Apple's able to leap over this, because the M1 Pro is, it's a couple-year-old chip now. So we'll see the M2 variants from Apple hopefully this year, and then hopefully those are much more impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it though.
It's all the interesting things in the subreddit.
That's actually the first time I've been to the subreddit probably since the last show. I'm not a subreddit and r/Apple frequenter anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Straight to the source.
Yeah.
Yeah. As in, I prefer just to go to Mac Rumors or something like that.
Yep. I get a lot of my content now from following Mac Rumors and The Verge on like Mastodon. I see all their posts there first.
Yep. Well, I am James VDM on Reddit and Mastodon.
And
social.
I'm Jellywoot on Reddit and D3 Codes on Mastodon at mast.to. I need to figure out how to say that better.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Mast.to is my server, yeah.
Okay. And the show notes, as always, on reddit.com/r/bluebubblepod. This doesn't really warrant a topic, which is why it went from like topics to post-show. Maybe even been in follow-up briefly, but I did try upgrading my incompatible Ventura Mac to Ventura with OpenCore. Not sure if you've heard of OpenCore, but it seems to be what's powering not just incompatible Mac upgrades, but also the whole Hackintosh communities like heading off the previous tools into OpenCore.
Oh, yeah, I think that might be the tool I used to get my 2010 Mac Pro running new software.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did it and it all went fine, but unfortunately I was getting kernel panics after that, so I ended up downgrading just for the stability.
Oh no.
So yeah, I guess I was just unlucky. But the tool itself seems like a pretty polished piece of polished and comprehensive piece of kit.
It sounds like you just need to upgrade your Mac if you want to run Ventura.
I will, for goodness sake. I will.
You've been saying it for years.
I've been saying it for years, and I don't know why I've just tiptoed around it for so long. Oh no, I'll get an iPad. Oh no, I'll get a PC. Just get a bloody Mac. Goodness me.
Learn your lesson.
It's going to be one of these lessons that I learned from the podcast. Always get AppleCare and just get a new Mac. After 5 years, if there's anything you've given to me, David, it's these pieces of wisdom.
That'll be the next highlight reel. I did the one on all your devices that got smashed over the years, and now I'll do one on every time that you've justified not buying a new Mac, and then later regretted it.
That'd certainly fill a few minutes. Oh dear.
I tried something earlier this week that I don't know for sure is an Australian thing, but I learned it from Bluey, so I'm assuming it's an Australian thing.
All right. What is it?
I learned so much from Bluey. I had cheese and jam on toast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It doesn't sound that weird to me, but it doesn't sound normal either. So,
okay,
like strawberry jam and cheese?
Yeah, I went with a strawberry jam and like a sharp cheddar, and it was very good.
Sound like a bit of a connoisseur already.
Oh, I just really like, just in general, I like really sharp cheeses.
Okay.
So that's what I had. But it was on Bluey. They were eating it. And I was like, "Is this a weird Australian thing? I want to try it." And it was very good.
Yeah, I can imagine it would taste all right. It wouldn't top cheese and Vegemite though. That is a winner.
I wonder if that's something I can even get in the States.
Oh yeah, definitely. If not, I'll have to ship you some. Just let me know.
I just typed Vegemite into Google, and the first thing that came up is an Amazon listing for Aussie Favorites Gourmet Care Package, Vegemite, Tim Tam cookies, Cadbury, and more.
Nice. Yeah, Tim Tams are great.
Okay.
Yep. You will enjoy yourself with Tim Tams. Maybe not so much with the Vegemite, but you've at least got to give it a go.
So Vegemite and cheese, that's the way to have it?
Well, I mean, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
You can just have it by itself as well, though. Another favorite combo is Vegemite and avocado. Very nice.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like it'd be good.
Yeah, and all of this on toast.
Right.
Wait, how do you know it would be good? Have you tried Vegemite before?
I haven't had Vegemite. My understanding is it's just like salty is the primary thing that I'm expecting out of it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's salty. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have avocado toast and I put salt or a sprinkle of pepper or whatever on that. So I think
perfect.
That makes sense in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Good. We're on the same road here.
Okay. So my favorite thing to put on avocado toast is everything bagel seasoning.
Wait, your favorite thing to put on avocado toast is bagels seasoning?
Yeah, the everything bagel.
Everything bagel. I'm not familiar with the bagel seasoning or everyday. Is it a brand or?
Everything bagels is a type of bagel that has
everything seasoning.
Yeah, it's got garlic and onion and salt and poppy seeds, and that's just a type of bagel. And then you can buy just that seasoning that gets sprinkled on a bagel, and I put that on avocado toast.
Okay. Everything but the bagel.
Oh,
is that it?
Yeah, that sounds.
Okay.
That does not the exact name of the one I get, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's all the same stuff.
Speaking of bagels, I was eating them 2 days ago, and I discovered, well, actually, I put them in the toaster, and I pressed the bagel button, and I wondered, what the heck does a bagel button do after all these years of putting bagels in and pressing the button? Like, I had no concept of what it actually did. I think in my mind I was thinking, like, it does it at a lower temperature for longer. But do you know what it does?
Yeah. It just cooks it longer?
No. It turns off one side of the toaster. So it only toasts the top of the bagel and not the bottom of it. So in my toaster, which is like a 4-slotter, it turns off all the middles. So then you put your bagels all facing out, and it doesn't bother cooking like the boiled part.
Well, that is very smart.
Yeah. So I was doing bagels that way, and now today I was eating hot cross buns, and I did them with the bagel setting, and it was perfect. It didn't burn like the cross off the bun. Yeah, amazing.
Hot cross buns is a thing that you eat?
It's not a thing that you eat?
My only my only exposure to hot cross buns is the song Hot Cross Buns. I've never actually seen or eaten them.
Really? Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
No, as soon as Christmas is over, the shop's like, right, Easter's coming, get out the hot cross buns. And the shelves are filled with them. So we eat them like from now until Easter, whenever that happens to be. Even if it's like late April.
I'm not even sure I know what they are. They're some kind of pastry, huh?
No, it's like a bread. It's a bun. Yeah, it's like a sweet bun.
Spiced sweet
with or
bun.
without fruit, but ever more popular is with choc chips instead of sultanas.
Mm.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of pastry-y to me.
Pastry. Isn't pastry like pastry? How do I describe? Like flaky, not bread.
Maybe. I guess maybe in my mind, I think anything that's bready but sweet is a pastry, but I don't know.
Pastry is baked food with flour, water, and shortening. Okay. I don't know what shortening is, so I think shortening would be the thing that makes it like crispy and flaky.
Okay. I believe you. But yeah, I've never seen those. Never seen those for sale. Must be a Commonwealth thing.
Sure sounds like it.
All right, I'm ordering Vegemite.